and I would leave the hands on there longer until that coldness went away.
And by the coldness going away, you know that the energy is moving.
Right, that the blockage has been opened.
Okay. How long does a Reiki treatment usually take?
Usually, you're looking at 45 minutes to an hour. Generally, when you first start off, I recommend, if you can do it, to have 2 or 3 treatments in a row, like one day apart. Go. But I know that isn't always possible. And if you have a Reiki treatment or you get a demo at a health fair, and again, if you don't feel anything, don't just assume that it didn't do any good. Like I said, I've given Reiki to people that had physical problems, and the Reiki didn't help the physical problem, but what it did was it brought up an emotional issue that needed to be healed. That in the grand scheme of things would be more important than the physical problem.
So maybe by healing the emotional issue, the physical issue healed as well longer term.
Correct. And in fact, that's the whole principle of holistic, the mind, the body, and the spirit, that there is that connection, that symbiotic connection, that by healing one, then you can heal all of them.
Who would be a good candidate for Reiki? Somebody who's really sick or somebody who's healthy, or how about animals?
Anybody is really a good candidate for Reiki. There's been scientific studies done, I know in hospital settings, that have shown that particularly for broken bones, that Reiki can, has been shown to decrease the amount of time needed for the bone to heal by almost 2/3 normal time.
I've heard of that happening. That's amazing, isn't
it? It is. Again, you don't have to believe in it for it to work. You have to believe in it to be a Reiki practitioner. But for it to work, you don't have to believe in it. And case in point, I've had some amazing results with animals. And obviously with animals, it's not a matter whether they believe in it or they don't believe it. It just is. One of my first experience after my level 2 training, and in Reiki, as a practitioner, there's 3 levels plus a master training. And after my level 2 training, I had the opportunity to give Reiki to a llama.
A llama?
Yes, and I'm the animal, not the Buddhist priest. So,
yeah, was this in Ohio? Where'd you find a llama in Ohio?
No, we had some people at my church that raised llamas, and they had a young male llama that had gotten heat stressed. And it was quite ill. It wasn't eating. It wouldn't stand up. The vet didn't know what was wrong. It wasn't responding to any of the medication. They even packed the llama up and took him to the veterinary school at Ohio State. And still, nothing was happening. It just wasn't getting better. So kind of as a last resort, they had heard about me, and they asked me, if I would be willing to come out there. So I came out there and spent about an hour and a half giving Reiki to this llama. And let me say, llamas are incredible animals. Really just incredible spiritual energy from a llama. So I spent an hour and a half giving Reiki to this llama. And at the end of that time, with my help and the owner's help, we got the llama to stand up. 3 days later, the llama got up by itself, and 2 weeks later, it's running around like there's nothing ever wrong with it.
Incredible. So true, though. I mean, that's just the way healing energy works. And I really like what you said about intention.
Yes.
If your intention is pure. So would you use the same hand positions in on a llama that you would on your teddy bear? Or?
Actually, llamas, dogs, horses, that the basic anatomy is kind of the same as a human. If you take a human and they get down on all fours, then everything's basically in the same place.
Yeah. Very cool.
But again, the hand positions are just a guideline, and you don't actually have to be in the presence of the person or the animal to give Reiki. You can give Reiki over distances.
Long distance healing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
tell me about that.
Well, I will have to say that I was really kind of skeptical about that.
As a rocket scientist, I think you would be.
Right. But it was kind of amazing. When I was in the my Reiki class, we did a little experiment where some of the students went back the back of the room and lay down on massage tables, and other students sat up in the front of the room, and they used a surrogate like this teddy bear. And the intention was that the surrogate would represent the person that they were sending the Reiki to. And it was amazing. As the person would move their hands on the bear, it's like I could feel their hands on my body. I knew where the hands were. I knew when they were changing their hands, even though I couldn't see, but I could feel it.
Mm-hmm. Powerful energy.
It is.
So you could go then, you know, across the world to help with healing.
Yes. And in Reiki, the term distance is not just distance. I don't know if we want to get in this, but it's not just physical distance. It's also distance over time. And Reiki is an incredible tool, and it really is a tool for helping you heal things that happened to you in the past.
Forgiveness and work as well, huh?
Yes. I know in my personal life, I've done some, I guess a psychologist would call it, I don't know what psychology, regenerative work, I don't know, work, where you kind of taken on a guided journey back in time.
Okay.
To a particular
guided
incident.
imagery?
Guided imagery, right.
Okay.
So you're going basically on a journey back in time to a specific event, and I had occasion to do that in my personal life, and when I saw my younger self, I gave myself Reiki. I gave my younger self Reiki at that time, and it was an incredibly healing experience for me.
Powerful.
It is.
Well, you know, that makes sense to me, because we do all have things from our past that need healing. I guess I just never thought about taking Reiki back through that way. So we can mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual.
Yes.
Reiki is helpful for all of those. So how would I go about finding a good Reiki practitioner?
Well, like I said, there's 60 or more Reiki masters in the Dayton area that are listed as teachers and practitioners. Certainly, you can go on the internet. There are holistic directories on the internet. There probably aren't that many that advertise in the phone book.
Probably not.
But I know that the school has a list of Reiki practitioners, of graduates from the school. I know that there's a bulletin board at the school where the graduates can place their business cards and things. But the internet is probably the best source.
Okay.
Just
find somebody in your area. Well, I guess I'm going back to what you said about in pure intention. So,
right.
Can you do harm?
No, you really can't, because the basic tenet of Reiki energy is that it always goes to do the greatest and highest good. So no, you cannot do harm with Reiki energy.
Sounds pretty cool. How about babies? I'm going to be a grandma, you know. So how about working on babies using Reiki?
It's no problem. They love it. Usually, children, like animals, are more sensitive to subtle energies than humans are than adults are.
Now that was great.
Okay. Because they have fewer preconceived notions about what is right and what isn't right than adults. So they're, and in fact, in the case of animals, they have no preconceived notions. So they're more sensitive to it, and they don't need a full 1-hour session. You know, 10 minutes with an animal or a baby would be more than adequate, probably.
Oh, that's the old American thing. More is better, and it ain't necessarily so,
No,
is it?
no, it isn't. And in fact, this is a good example where it takes time for the subtle energy to do its work. So, you know, if you only have like an hour, rather than, it would be better to do a half hour one day and a half hour the next day than 1 hour on one day and nothing else.
Because?
Because it takes time.
Okay, so you do it a half hour, let that work, and then you come back and do another
Correct.
half hour. So is this if you have like chronic or acute illnesses, or only, or, well, I suppose it would be really good to come in periodically and get balanced and
yes.
keep your channels open. So
I have a friend and acquaintance that, in fact, the gentleman that first talked to me about Reiki, he has MS, and he became a Reiki master, and it's drastically reduced the effect of that disease on his lifestyle, on his life.
so you can do it on yourself then?
Yes,
He's
yes, you can do it on
treating
yourself.
himself.
Right. And in fact, in the different levels of Reiki, like I said, there's 3 levels plus a master. And level 1 Reiki is really about self-healing. Giving yourself Reiki, and in doing that, then it will help you become a better practitioner.
The more you treat yourself, the better you get.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then the second level you said is distance, and then the third level is teaching.
Right. Well, the second level is more than just distance, but it's distance plus some other little tools that help you focus your intention better. And again, that's really what it's about, is the intention. And the second level is helping you focus the intention to help facilitate the healing.
So you said, my train pulled out, lost my question. You said 30 minutes every other day. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Does this have to be in a special setting? Like, is this, you know, meditative, or do you have to be on a table?
Typically, Reiki sessions are done on a massage table. And unlike my bear, you know, you would stay fully clothed.
Poor bear.
And it's usually a very relaxing, there will be some very relaxing music playing in the background. And some people incorporate Reiki with aromatherapy. I don't. I'm very, very sensitive to smell, so I don't add any aromatherapy. But yes, typically it's done in a very serene setting on a massage table. But it doesn't have to be. I do Reiki demos at health fairs and things like that. Some of my most profound Reiki that I've been given, I've gotten while I'm sitting in a chair, just a regular old, you know, like a kitchen chair.
Just getting some Reiki. We're about out of time, unfortunately. What would you like to leave our guests with today? What is the main thing that you would like for them to have learned today about Reiki?
Just that Reiki is a very soothing, calming, relaxing, and yet invigorating energy. You don't have to believe in it for it to work, and you just have to open yourself up.
And that's about health, is opening yourself up. Thanks for being here.
Well,
and thank you all for joining us for Your Total Health. Join us next time, and in the meantime, stay healthy and stay happy. Great job.
You didn't ask me.